Now let's see what this actually looks like within our browser. We can access the Chrome DevTools by right-clicking on the page, going to Inspect, and this will show us what the browser is exchanging with the web server. So as we refresh in the Network tab, it will show us all the requests made within this page in order for it to render. And as I mentioned earlier, each of these requests come with a status code, and as you can see, all of them come back as 200 because all of them actually exist. But now let's say if we go to an invalid page. As you can see, the website comes back and says page not found. And in Chrome DevTools, we can actually see that the status code is coming back as 404, which a browser expects to say not found. If we go back to our current browser and we load back the website again, we can also see the headers and information that was exchanged between our browser and the web server by clicking on each of these requests. So as you can see here, we made a request to www.nohamsec.training. We use the get method. We got a 200 back. This is the IP address for the web server. And you can also see all the other information like our browser information, our host name, and so on. You can also click at the preview and you can see what this website looks like, which kind of matches exactly with what we rendered early on. And we can also see the response. In some cases, you may see additional headers where the server replies with some headers and says, hey, this is what I want to use. And you can kind of see that this matches the exact thing as you can click on right-click view page source and they both actually match. So this is what the server is returning when we make our request, and in return it gets rendered and shown to us as a user. While I encourage people to get familiar with the Google Chrome DevTools, we can also use Burp Suite to make these things look nicer and have some automation, additional tooling while we hack. You can download Burp Suite by going to the Portswigger website, scrolling down and looking at the different Burp Suite editions and clicking on the one that fits your needs. For the sake of this course, I highly recommend using the community version, which is free. It may be limited, but it gets the job done for us. If you have a little bit of extra cash and you want to upgrade your Burp Suite license, you can spend $400 per year per user and download the professional version that comes with different scanners and additional tooling. You can download the community version by clicking on Get Community and pushing Download Latest Version and selecting your operating system and clicking Download. Once you open up Burp Suite after you have installed it, it would ask you to either create a new project or just simply use temporary projects with the Burp Suite default settings as you started off. Now that we have Burp opened up, we want to make sure that our browser knows how to communicate with Burp Suite. When you make a request to a website that's using HTTPS, your information is getting encrypted before it's sent to the web server, so nobody else on your network could actually intercept that data and decode it and use it. So what we're going to do next is we're going to tell our browser, hey, Burp Suite is a trusted resource. I want you to allow him to see the information that I'm sending to each web server and allow him to change or modify it. And in order to do this, we want to download the Burp Suite certificate within our browser and also install it in Google Chrome. The steps to install the certificate may change depending on your browser and the operating system you're using, but they all may be a little similar. In order for Burp Suite to be able to intercept each request sent to any web server, we want to make sure our browser knows that Burp Suite is a trusted resource. This ensures that every bit of data we're sending to the web server is encrypted and nobody on your local network can actually access or view the information that you're sending through. So that could be passwords, usernames, bank account information, and so on. So by installing Burp Suite certificate, we're telling our browser, hey, I trust Burp Suite, let them access my data without it being encrypted, or actually decrypt it and send it through before it hits the web server. In order to install the certificate, we want to make sure our browser is actually speaking to Burp Suite. You can do this by doing different things. The first option is to use the Google Chrome default settings by going through proxy and pointing it to Burp Suite, or you can download tools like Foxy Proxy, which I highly recommend. Foxy Proxy is available on both Google Chrome and Firefox, and it's highly recommended to use. It makes it easier to enable and disable your proxy while you're hacking. So once you have installed Foxy Proxy, we're going to go to Options, and we're going to add a new proxy. You can get this information by going to your Burp Suite, clicking on Proxy, and then going to Options. We want to make sure that the browser is sending all of its information to this current IP address, which is our local host, on port 8080. Once we have done this, we can go to Foxy Proxy and enable our proxy to use that IP import for every request that we make. Since we haven't installed the Burp Suite certificate yet, when we go to any website that uses SSL, the browser is not going to trust it because it doesn't know what to do with that request. So for example, if I go to twitter.com, the browser is going to come back and say, wait a minute, this connection is not private, something is up, are you sure you want to proceed? But we can actually install the Burp Suite certificate by going to http://burp. This will bring up the Community Edition's welcome page. But on the right hand corner, we can click on CA certificate, which will download the certificate belonging to Burp Suite. Now that we have downloaded the Burp Suite CA certificate, we're going to go through our Chrome settings, type in the word certificate into the search, click on security, scroll all the way down, manage certificate, go to our trusted root certificates, import a certificate that we just downloaded. Once we import it and push finish, it's going to make sure that we want to install the certificate as a security measure. We're going to click yes and allow it to import. Once we've installed our certificate, we're going to simply exit out of Google Chrome and relaunch it to make sure all the security settings have been applied. Now that we've opened up our browser again, we're going to type in Twitter just to make sure it works. As you can see, now we can actually launch our proxy again. Now we can turn on the intercept within Burp Suite and allow our browser's requests to be intercepted. As you can see, every time we make a different request, Burp Suite is actually able to intercept and show us what each request looks like. Now let's go back to our training website. And as you can see, your browser is going to intercept every request you make, and it's not going to work unless you forward it. So until you press the forward button, the browser is going to be hanging and waiting for your actions. So if we click forward, immediately the website loads and we can see the material from the training course.